I'll just get started while we wait. Um, so today, again, we've kind of named it detailing. Because we don't have too much time, again, you can't really go through everything in detailing in 1 hour. What we're going to do is just kind of go through the basics in terms of how to set up or the process on how to get to a detail view as well. The detail that we'll look at is a windowsill detail, okay? And then we'll go through how to import and manufacturer's CAD model into our project, how to get the section view, how to get the detail view, and adding little bits of detail components and detail lines and stuff like that as well. The task shouldn't really take too long. A lot of the time will be either questions or just kind of explanation in terms of that part. But the task itself, there's not really a lot of components to it. So starting off, if you've all got the folder with you, if you want to open that up and just make it small enough so you can still see your Revit projects. The first thing we're going to do is import a window model. I've downloaded this window model from eBoss. There should be a little link to the window file as well. So when you're doing detail models, it's probably easier to find CAD models or BIM models that have been made by the actual manufacturers. Okay, these are probably really good because they've been prepared for detailed drawings in general as well. So eBoss is a general site that you can download a lot of BIM models as well. There's a whole lot of different products. Not all of these products have BIM models. Okay, you can filter out which ones have BIM and so on. But this is where I have the this is where I downloaded the BIM model that we're going to use today as well. So again, there's a little shortcut link if you want to have a look as well. I've also got a little text window, again, just that has the same link, but also some other links as well that you can download different components there as well. So again, in that text little file, should be in that same folder. Okay, so when importing windows or like the window model, there's two ways to go about it. I'll just get you guys to watch for now. First way we can go is we can just simply double click and just actually open up the window model. Okay, so this is the Revit family file from that BIM site. Again, it has the different sections as well. So it's already got sections for the actual model. Okay, we haven't put it on our walls yet, but this is just kind of like a preview on what it will look like on top of a wall as well. There are little 3D views to have a look at the different components. They are named as well. So when you hover over one of the pieces, it should give a name, a little preview name of what it is as well. Once you've opened it up, you can go load into project. Okay, so that's one way to just bring it straight into the project and then we can place it on our walls. Alternatively, if I just close that again, we can also go to the window tool as well. And then we can go through load family, and then we can navigate to wherever we downloaded the folder, and then load it from there as well. So I think, I even copied it over. So I think I'm using the one, oh no, I have copied it over. So again, you can load family, desktop, double click this one. And then once we got on here, again, we can open it. And then it should kind of snap onto our mouse if we have the window tool open. And then we can start placing it onto the wall. Ignore the mouse here, it's just really big so you guys can see, but you can see it snapping onto the wall. Yeah. So if you guys want to import the window model, okay, so either double clicking it, loading into the project, or going into the window part here and loading family. Okay, so that's the first task. So we'll go through this way while everyone's got Revit open. So if you want to go to the window tool first, in the architecture tab, window, load family, navigate to the folder that you had downloaded, click on the Revit family, and then we'll go open. And this should bring a window, and we want to snap it onto the wall. We'll place it on the right wall for now, just to get everyone started. Again, to place the window, you just left click, and you got the window there. Okay. There are directional arrows as well. Okay, so we can change which way the window is open. Again, we want the arrows, these bi-directional arrows on the right side, so it's facing the exterior. Okay, so it opens out to the end. Okay, hopefully everyone's got the window in. Once we've got the window in as well, we're just going to do one little tweak to our wall. So currently our wall is, the exterior is facing on the inside. So if you click on the wall, there should be a little double arrow here. We're just going to click that so it's facing on the outside. This will come in handy once we start breaking down the different layers of the wall. So you just want to make sure that bidirectional arrow is on the outside, not on the inside. So it's facing there. So that's for the wall, not the window. Once we've got our window in, next thing we're going to do is create the section view that cuts through the window. So we're going to go to the top, to the view tab. I'm going to click on view. So it's at the top there. Once we're on the view tab, we're going to go to section. This should activate the section tool. So first thing we're going to do on the left-hand side of the window is click once. And then we're going to move the mouse to the right just so we can cut through the window there. Then click again. Now this should give us a little section that cuts through our window and our wall as well. What this should also do as well is that it should generate another window in our project browser. So on the left, bottom left, there are two section tabs. Our section drawing will be in the building section. So if you expand that menu, you go to section 2, double click on that, and that should be our little section detail that cuts through the window and wall. Cool. Pretty straightforward. Again, raise your hands. We have Ernest kind of floating around if you have questions as well. But I think everyone, as far as I can see, everyone's up to that stage already. So we're going all good for now. Okay, now we've got our section view. To generate the callout view or the detail view, we're going to go back to the view tab at the top. Okay, once we're at that view tab, we're going to go to the callout option and we're going to click on that. Okay, this should activate the callout tool. So pretty much we're kind of creating the area that we want to create another isolated view, kind of like a zoomed up view for the detail. You can start at the bottom left corner, bottom right, but you click once to generate the area that you want to select. Okay, we want to make sure we capture the wall and also the sill, the window sill as well. Again, you can adjust the dimensions of how much you're viewing as well. If you click on it, you can adjust the width, height, and also. If your lines are quite thick like mine, there are tools to make them thinner. So there's a thin lines tool at the bottom, at the very top actually. If you click on that, this will make it a bit easier to see the lines. So again, very top, it's like bold lines and then with a slash and thin lines as well. So this is quite good when you're doing detailing because it kind of makes it a bit more easier to see the finer lines and stuff like that as well. So again, I like to work in thin lines just so I can see things in general. Once we've created our callout view, it should create another window underneath our section view there as well. We can double click on that. And now we've kind of got a detailed view of our window. But right now it doesn't really look like a detail. Okay, so the first couple of things we're gonna do is on the left-hand side in the project browser, or properties tab, sorry, there should be a option called detail level. Okay, in that detail level, there should be a drop down, and instead of coarse, we're gonna change it to fine. Once you go fine, go apply, and this will give us a finer view of the aluminum window. Okay, so this is why it's quite important to try and find the manufacturing models because they'll have them set up so you can actually do your details. You can do this by hand by drawing it manually, but again, now it just takes heaps of time. So ideally, if you can find these manufacturing bin models, try and find them and import them into your model to just save you so much time and stuff like that is there. Cool. So hopefully everyone's up to our stage now. Pretty straightforward. Any questions? Again, yeah, please raise your hand. Otherwise, we'll move on. Okay. So first thing we're going to do now, before we kind of do a few adjustments, main thing with detailing as well is actually knowing how things are built as well. So I've added a little document in there as well, just to kind of give you a little idea, again, just how details are actually made. This will tie into the tutorial as well. So the little things that we're going to add to our model are probably flashings, building tape or building underlay, flashing tape, packers so the windows can sit on top, and we might add a few little elements in terms of like the sealant rods and stuff like that as well. But it's quite important to actually know what you're making as well. Otherwise, when you're doing this detailing, I don't know where I'm going with this. It's just good to make sure you know how it's actually being built and how the layers are going on top of each other in there as well. So this document's quite good. It's from Build Supplement 162. It's like the extract for the window flashings as well. So this is quite good to read, just so you understand what we're actually making there as well. Cool. Again, that's in that folder. Other than that, we'll move on to the next step. So once we've got our detail view here, what we're going to do now is we're going to change the scale. So right now it's quite big, 1 to 50. In the bottom left corner of the main window, we're going to click on the 1 to 50. Again, this will give us different options for the scale we'll work with. We'll go with 1 to 5 for now. And this will give us a bit more detail in terms of the texturing for the different wood there as well. So again, changes to 1 to 5. So everyone's got that. Next step we can also do is that with this box, again, you don't have to keep the outline as well. This is probably more of a visual aspect, but if you want to get rid of this box and just kind of have it as an empty background, in the properties tab as well, we can turn this crop region off and then go apply, and then we get something like this as well. Later we'll add the break line, which you guys will usually see in a lot of details as well. It's a pretty simple component that we can add onto it as well. But again, you can toggle that on and off need be as well. Again, you can adjust how much is being cropped. Again, if you need to expand it or extend it. Otherwise, if you don't really like the outline, you can just turn it off for now. Cool. Moving on to the next step. Right now, our wall is pretty bland, mostly because we've just got a generic type wall. Okay. Again, most walls have different components. They have exterior cladding, cavities, framing, interior linings. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create some layers for our wall. So you want to select the wall. Once you've got it selected, in the properties tab, there should be an option called edit type. Click on edit type. After that, we're going to go to structure, the structure option, and then we're going to go to edits. Okay, this should bring us a window showing us the different layers. So again, right now we don't have any layers, it's just one big wall. Okay, so we're gonna add a couple of layers. First thing, what we'll do to add the layer, you have to go to insert at the bottom. Okay, so if you go insert, it creates a new layer, and we can adjust the material and thickness as well. We're going to add 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll stick with 4 layers for now, just to keep it simple. Okay, 1 layer for the exterior cladding, 1 layer for the cavity batten or the drainage cavity, 1 layer for the framing, and then we'll do 1 layer for the interior lining as well, just to keep it simple. Again, you can have multiple layers depending on the type of wall you have as well. You can adjust the material and you can adjust the thickness as well. So we'll insert 4 layers just in here. Okay, again, just press insert at this part here, and we should have 4 layers in there. Okay, one last thing as well. At the top, we can see exterior side, and at the bottom, we can see interior side as well. So when you're doing the top layer, this is the layer that will be facing the outside. Again, bottom layer down here will be facing the inside. Okay, so the first thing we'll do for the structure, in this material part, we can also apply categories. Again, this can give us options in terms of the different hatchings and different graphics that we see in our detail view. So again, if you go into that first structure layer and go to material, we can select a whole bunch of different materials in there as well. To keep it simple, you can go filter. There's a filter option at the top. And we'll just go with wood for now. We'll just go exterior wood cladding. Okay, whole bunch of different options for wood. Okay, just for the sake of the tutorial, you can just pick any. Again, you can adjust the different hatchings as well. Again, there are wood planks, so you can stick with this one as well. However, once you select the material as well, it will bring up the different graphics. So on the right-hand side, there should be a graphics kind of window right next to it. In this one here, we can change the colors of, depending on what type of display view we've got on, but we can change the colors and also the patterns that we see as well. So again, in the foreground, we can change what pattern is in there. So from that, you get a whole bunch of different hatchings or different lines. And same thing for surface patterns as well, and surface cut patterns there as well. So adjust those as need be. Again, if you have your own custom ones, so a lot of the time we see a lot of glue lam or glue laminated kind of exterior claddings. You click on this, and there should be a little new fill pattern option down there. If you click on that, it should open up a new window. In the type, if you go custom, you can add in your own there as well. The type of file that uses is a pat file. It's like a hatching pattern. I think you can make these in Rhino. I'm not too sure. I'm quite old. I haven't used this in a while, but I know this is where you do your custom textures or custom patterns. Because again, not all patterns are the same. But I know specifically for glue lam, there was quite a distinct pattern. So you can add your custom ones in there as well. So that applies for all the different layers. So again, you can pick whatever pattern you want for now. Then you can go apply. We go OK. Thickness, we're going to change the thickness to 25. Again, these are just rough measurements just off the top of the head. So thickness, we're going to go 25. For the second layer, since it's kind of like a cavity, we're going to change it to thermal and air layer. Change it to that layer there. So again, second layer, drop down, thermal, air layer. Once we got this here, I'm pretty sure there is an air category or material. So you can go air if you want to, if it's too much of a hassle, you can leave it. And for the air cavity, we're gonna make it 20. So hopefully by now we should have 2 layers, one for the exterior cladding, one for the cavity. Third layer, we're gonna do our timber framing. So again, here you can select another timber. And in the thickness, we'll go 90. So we'll just go off like normal timber studs, so 90 by 45. So we'll change the third layer to 90. Now for our last layer, we'll just go with an interior lining. So in the category and the material, I think the closest thing to jib is gypsum board. So if you write GYP, gypsum wallboard, again, you can adjust the different patterns that we see in the view as well, but this is probably the closest thing to it. You go OK, and we'll adjust the thickness to 15. Cool. So just keep it simple for now. We'll leave this as is. There are a whole lot of different options as well, but at the bottom left, we do have a preview window that we can see as well. And this will give you an idea of what it looks like in terms of the layers. Again, these are the type of layers that we will see in our detailed view there as well. Right now it's going horizontal, but if we go OK and load this in, then go apply, we should see our changes in our wall in there as well. So we've got our different layers. Cool. Again, if your wall is on the opposite side, so if the exterior cladding is on the inside, go back to your floor plan, click on the wall, and click on that bidirectional arrow. We want to make sure this is on the outside, just so our exterior is on the outside. Cool. All right. So it runs up to that stage for now. Cool. So the next part we're going to do is we're going to add some detailed components for now. So similar to how we've got the window model, you can download Revit families and Revit components, including detailed components. So again, if we jump back to this document here, some of the things we're going to add are flashing. We'll add a sealant for weather tightness as well. And after that, we'll add a few kind of like packers and timber framing there as well. So again, yeah, if you're wondering what parts we're looking at, we're going to add a sealant just for now, and then we're going to add some flashing model there. Again, since we're in the detail view, these things are too small to actually model in 3D as well. So right now they're just really line work. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back to that folder, okay, and there should be an additional folder called detail components. So again, like I mentioned before, we have two models that we're going to add into our project. So we have the sill flashing and we have the sealant for the backing rod there as well. When adding them in, we're going to shift to the annotate tab. Additionally, you can just open them up and load them into the project, but we're going to go to the annotate tab now. So once we're in the annotate tab, there should be a components option. If you click on that, we can load family, and we want to navigate back to that detail components folder. First thing we'll add is the sill flashing. So it should just be called New Zealand sill flashing. And if you go open, this should load us up a flashing. Place this just kind of in this gap here. There should be parametric so we can adjust the widths as well. Right now the height is 8 mil, which is probably like the minimum that we can have in there. But with the flashing, what we'll do, we want to make sure it's extending out towards the back so it's not hitting the window frame. And we want to give it a small gap in between here as well. What it should do is that when you place this flashing, it should kind of give you the gap between the cladding and the actual flashing. I think the rule is to have a 5 mil gap between the actual cladding and the flashing, unsealed gap. So we're going to change that gap to 5 if you do have it there. It's like a window preview when you add it in. There should be a little number. If you can't, kind of just have to freestyle it. Yeah. Yep. Oh, just you extend it out, drag it out from zoom out. I'll show you. Yeah. I think that's fine. I think if it's 5, it's fine. I think it's probably because. Oh, jokes. That's not 5. Oh, wait, jokes. Oh no, yeah, that is right. I think mine's going off the tip of the end. Yeah. But I think 5 mil is the minimum. If I change that to there. Again, you might not have this preview on everyone's model. It might be different depending on how you place it, but it should give you dimensions either on the tip or on the very end as well. If you do want to kind of measure it, what we can do is that we can use a detail line just as a quick measuring tool. So on the same annotate tool, there should be a detail line option. If you click on that, this just allows us to draw just a general line. So from the exterior cladding, if you click once to snap onto that wall, type in 5, press escape, and you should be able to snap this on to the very end there as well. So I think everyone's, again, you can always adjust it need be. What we will also want to do as well, because we're going to add some lines for the building underlay and the flashing tape, we just want to make sure we've got a bit of space underneath the flashing. Okay, ideally they would be sandwiched on top of each other. Okay, but just for the sake of the detail, for us to actually see these lines, we just want to make sure there's a small gap beneath it. Okay, otherwise, yeah, the lines will be overlapping and then you can't really see too much there as well. So just a small gap underneath. Again, but the first thing is everyone should have a flashing inside their drawing. Cool. Next thing we'll do, we'll add the ceiling. The ceiling on the backing rod. Okay, so again, going back to the annotate tab, go to components, go load family, and it should go back to the same folder, but we're going to select the second one now. What you will see is going to come out massive. Okay, what we can do, we can just place it in the projects. You can move it and snap it to different parts there. So again, you can use the move tool to be a little more accurate. Select the points that you want to move from, and we'll snap it to the corner, the bottom corner of the sill. Again, you can see there should be some arrows there as well. So if we drag that up, it should snap to either the same height of our flashing. So I'll show that one more time. So once you click on that sealant, you can adjust the heights and it should kind of snap so it's in line with our flashing there as well. Cool. Again, we want to put just a little bit of a gap because we'll add some detail lines for the flashing tape and building underlay. But again, yeah, you should be able to adjust the sizes. It is a parametric detail item, so it kind of expands all as one. Okay, but yeah, the parametric allows you to kind of expand on the different directions there. Okay, again, we want to make sure there's a little gap, just so we can add some lines for the building underlay and tape. I know I keep repeating it. But once we've got that in there, the next thing we're going to do is that, referring back to this document here, we're going to add a little packer. So it's just like a little timber block. So what we're going to do in the component as well, we're going to go load family. Now this one can be found in the Revit library. So on the left-hand side of this menu, go to metric library. So on the left-hand side, it's in the little gray menu. Once we're in here, it'll probably take you either to like a US or like a folder where it doesn't say anything. So again, if you go metric, go to US, what we can do, you can either go to the drop down and go English, or we can go into this little folder where it goes one level up. And this will take us to the different categories of different countries. So we'll go with New Zealand for now. So I'll just go through because I think everyone, so again, metric library, we'll go one level up, New Zealand. We're going to go into detail items now. So detail items, components, and then we're going to go to timber. So right now there's two kind of options we can go with. Okay. Usually with these little packers, you go with like the one line. So we'll go with the noggin or the nogging model, and we'll load that up. You will notice it's really big. Okay. What we're going to do, we're going to duplicate the type. So you can just place it in your project, press escape. Once you've got it in your project, we're going to fit it into this little slot here. So we're going to click on the little noggin, and we're going to go to edit type. So in the properties tab, once you've got selected, go to edit type. And now once we've got this window here, we're going to duplicate it. And when it gives you a name, you can just call it 10 mil packer. Cool. What this will do now is that any models that are loaded in as that noggin, it won't affect it. We'll kind of create a duplicate of it. So any changes won't affect the other models or that actual Revit family. Once you've changed the name, scroll down to thickness and width. Okay, so for the thickness, we're just going to change it to 10. And for the width, we'll just go with 50 for now. Go apply, go OK. And this should give us a little block here as well. Again, you can adjust the thickness as well, or you can adjust how much the flashing is coming out as well. But we want to just kind of slot this inside here as well. Again, you can use the move tool to kind of pick the corner and line it up with the actual sill. And that's pretty much it for the initial detail components as well. We will add additional stuff, but this is probably more so for the smaller parts here as well. Again, if it's too big, I think in terms of these packers, they can't be smaller than like 30 or 40 mils. So you kind of have to make it 40 mils at the smallest. Again, you can adjust the width need be. Go apply, and we can change it there as well. Cool. Any questions? Otherwise, we'll move on to the next step. Okay. So next step, we're going to add a timber frame underneath our packer and our other ceiling rods as well. So we're going to go back to the annotate tab component. Now instead of the nogging model, we're going to bring in the framing model. We're going to load this in. It's probably going to come out a bit too big as well. In the left-hand side, if you click on the model, there should be a little drop-down menu in the Properties tab. They should also have different configurations as well. So you can either create your own type. With packers, they kind of have like specific dimensions, but with framing, they're pretty set dimensions as well. So since we've made our framing layer and our wall 90, in that drop-down menu, there should be a 90 by 45 option. We're going to click on that, and that should fit nicely within our wall layer as well. Again, we can move it to the top using the move tool, make it snap, and we should have something like that. Cool. Again, for finer adjustments, you can use the arrow keys as well. Again, the more you zoom up, the smaller the movements. Okay. So hopefully everyone's got timber block in there. Yeah. All right. Now, last thing as well, again, I'm just referring back to the drawing. We're going to add some insulation in there as well. So in the same annotate tab, we're going to go to the right side of component one and go insulation. Okay, what it should do, it should give us a starting point of where to start. There should be a little triangle when you go halfway on the block. Click once, and then if you drag this down, it should kind of crop all the way past where you've got the crop view margin there as well. Yep. Oh, sorry. So annotate, and then the insulation one there. So again, when drawing it, you can pick the middle point. It just snap to the triangle so we can go in the center. Drag that down. Now we should have some insulation. Okay. Last couple parts before we finish off. We are going to put some detail lines as well, but we're going to create our own custom ones. So again, lines are just lines. Okay, we can adjust whether they're dashed, what color they are, thickness is as well. Again, usually they're just dashed lines when it comes to like building underlays and flashing tapes. So what we're going to do first is that in the same tab, before we go to detail line, we're going to create our own custom line style. So if you go to manage now, so in the manage tab, we're going to go to additional settings. Now there should be a line styles option here. Say project, yes please. Okay. This should bring up a window. Okay, if you press on this plus button, it shows you all the different types of lines that are already in the project. Okay, what we're going to do, we're going to go to the bottom right of the window and go new under the modified subcategories. Once we're in here, we'll name it building underlay. So I'll go through it one more time. So additional settings, line styles, new. And again, we'll just name this building underlay. Once you've renamed it, we'll just go OK. And this should give us a new line type. Again, it's pretty straightforward in terms of the settings. We can adjust how thick it is in the line weight. We can adjust the color. So up to you what color you want. I'm just going to go with a blue for now, like a dark blue, just to differentiate between the two. And then the line pattern, what we'll do, we'll go with the dash line, just to keep it simple. We will go with the, we'll go with the 1.5 mil dash. Once you've got that, go apply. And go OK. Now to add the line as well, we have to go back to annotate. Top. Now we're going to click on detail line. Now in this little menu here, the line style in the drop down. Again, if you probably have to go on the green menu over here, click on that. In the little drop down, we should be able to see our new line style. So hopefully building underlay is there. I'll show that one more time. So annotate, detail line, annotate. Then in this line style drop down, we should see our line style that we just created. Cool. Once we've got that there, we can start drawing the line. So again, it should snap towards the edge of the wall. So left click to start. You can draw this out. You can draw it down. Hopefully everyone's got their line. So again, we have a cavity. Sorry, I'll explain that again. We have a cavity in there as well. So we want to draw the line out. So if I go back to detail line, we want to draw the line out, and draw it along inside the cavity line there. So the building underlay goes all the way down the wall. So we want to draw that all the way down. Okay. Again, it's just a line. You can always edit it afterwards. We're going to create a new line style for the flashing tape. So again, following that same method, manage, additional settings, line styles, pop that open. Oh, don't need to pop it open. You can create a new subcategory. We'll call it flashing tape. Go OK. I'll just put this one as red for now. Cool. And again, we'll do another dash, but we'll change it to the 2.5. Bye. And again, you're kind of following that same method. Going back to annotate, detail line, selecting the new line style that we just made, and dragging that out. Now, when doing the flashing tape, I think the minimum distance is like 50 mils. So when you're doing that second line, you should be able to get a dimension preview. So you can just type in 50, and it should kind of snap it there as well. So I'll show that one more time. So when drawing the detail line, you can just draw that all the way out. We'll stop it there. But when we're doing that second segment, there should be a number preview. Type in 50, enter, and then we should have 50 mils down. then press escape to turn it off. Cool. So hopefully now we should have some detail lines for our building underlay, flashing, tape. It runs at that stage. Cool. Last thing we'll quickly show is how to add some text and how to export it to scale. So in the same annotate tab, we're going to go further to the right and we're going to go text. So this would be how you label your different detail components in there as well. So I'll show them all the time. So going to annotates, then going to text. Okay, there's quite a few options in terms of the segments that we can do. We're going to do this bottom left one. Okay, so 2 segments. This is quite good when you have components kind of like more inner or more inside the wall, per se. So say you wanted to add a label for the sealant. If we click once on here, drag this up, it should snap going straight, and then click again to create a second segment. You can either go left or right, but we'll just go right for now. Drag that out, and this should give us an option to text. So we'll just go sealant with backing rod. Cool. Left click to confirm it. Again, like a lot of different components, we can adjust the settings. So if we click on the text and we go to edit type, we'll have another window where we can adjust the type of arrows we want, text size. We can adjust the color. So if we want to change it to red, change it to red. Line weight, we can make it thicker. So if we go 3, we can also change the type of arrow we want. So we can go arrow field 15 degree. Text size, we can change it to 1 if you want it smaller. Then go apply. You should be able to see the settings adjusted from there as well. Yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. I'll go from the beginning. Okay, so just starting again on the annotate tab, text. So click on the A. Now in this little part here, we're going to go to the bottom right with 2 segments. There's an option to do just 1 segment. So if you've got a straight line, do the 1. But we can do 2 just for these inner parts here. Once you've got that on, it should kind of activate the tool. Click once to start. Drag it up. Again, you can do it from the bottom as well. Click again to do a straight segment. Click one more time, and then we can add our text in there as well. So, spelling. Back and run. And then left click outside to finish it there as well. Press escape to turn the tool off. But here, this is where you would kind of annotate your different drawings as well. Again, you would have certain products that you would use. So for the, if you're doing one for the jib board, you'd have like 10 mil jib and an interior lining or something like that. But this is where you can write your descriptions for the different products you're using as well. Cool. One last thing to finish it off. We're going to go to components, load family. And now we're going to jump back to metric library. Again, we're going to do that 1 level up to take us to the New Zealand folder. We'll go detail items. Now, instead of components, we're going to go annotations. And what that should do is should bring us a break line. So that's that break line you always see in a lot of the detail drawings. So I'll go through it one more time. So again, going from the New Zealand folder, detail items, annotations, break line. So that's that line we always usually see. We go open. We can add this to the top, and I should cap it from there as well. Now, if you do it from the bottom, it's going to do that. What we can do is that if we click on that, press space to do quick rotation, you can flip it, and then again you can adjust the heights and stuff like that there as well. So I think by default it comes in from the top down. Again, you can press space just for a quick rotation, or alternatively, you can use the rotate tool here as well. Select the first point of rotation, type in 180, and you can flip it. Cool. Again, it should kind of snap in line with the one above as well. And hopefully by now we should have a pretty basic detail. Last thing we'll do, we'll export this onto a sheet. So again, going to the project browser at the bottom right, we're going to go to sheets and go right click. That should bring us up a menu. When you get up to the little menu, we're going to go new sheets. And now I'm not too sure if there's already an A3 metric template there, but there should be the title block A3 on. We're going to go OK. It should be a blank one. So I think I did this file beforehand, so it should be blank. And now what we can do, we can put this on our page. So we can simply hover over the section or the callout view, the detail view that we made, drag and drop this onto the sheet. Again, you can adjust the scale by double clicking inside the view to activate it. You can make it bigger. Again, I won't put it on the sheet, or you can make it smaller. So if you have multiple views. Again, the smaller you go, the less detail you can see. So 1 to 5 is probably the best one for now. Again, to deactivate the view on the sheet, double click outside of it. And then if you don't like these little names here, again, you can adjust them if you click on them once. Just one click, and then a little drop down menu on the top left. You can go no title there as well. So if you want to do your own little text annotations, and maybe Photoshop or InDesign or something like that, you can do as well. Ideally, or not ideally, alternatively, you can also annotate on the sheet itself as well. So once you've dragged and dropped the view onto the sheet, you can also annotate on top of it as well. But ideally, it would probably be best to do this inside the actual drawing. Cool. Once we've got it on the sheet, I'll just quickly show you a method to print it to scale. So once you've got it on your sheet, you go to print. We'll change this to PDF, Microsoft Print to PDF. Once we've got that there, this is another way. I know Ernest showed you how to export it as PDF, but this is kind of like the print way. If you go to setup at the bottom, what we'll do, we'll change this to A3 to fit our sheet size. On the zoom, we'll select zoom on the zoom option. Now what this will do, this will turn off the center. We'll click this back onto center. And the hidden line views will go vector line processing, or vector processing, sorry. Raster quality will go presentation. Colors, if you have color lines, we'll go with color for now as well. Now there are heaps of ways. This is just one way. I was taught how to do it as well. Then if you go OK, we'll go OK again. Now it should ask you to place the file. We'll do a quick test just to make sure it's to scale. And then what it should do, it should process the PDF hopefully at the bottom. And now we have our drawing to scale as well. Cool. So yeah, that's it for the tutorial, guys. Quick little introduction on how to do it. Again, we are missing quite a few parts. Again, there would be fixings as well, and smaller and more detailed options as well. But this is just something to get you guys going for now. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for coming, and I'll leave you guys to it. Cool. Thank you.